a topic which is very simple. Basically, it's a very light chapter. First chapter of the topic, biology itself. Highlight chapter है. And it goes by the name what issue? Living world. Correct? Because you know that biology is the study of life. Correct बोलो? अब यहाँ पे कुछ बेसिक क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं. मतलब as a human mind studies the things around him or her, what you realize is that whatever things are there around you can be classified as inanimate and animate. Okay, basic understanding of your environment, and you will reach the conclusion that there are certain things around you which are non-living, and you are surrounded by living organisms, both living as well as non-living. Okay, and NCERT says that mankind has many a time deified the non-living things. Deified का मतलब पता है क्या होता है? Yes, Jay? Not ignored. Actually, worshipped. Okay. Early humans, they suffered losses due to fire or due to heavy rains, and ultimately many of them started worshipping these forces of nature like water, sun, etc. And when you worship inanimate objects, it is called the deity of the Lord, God. You made God out of those non-living things. Got my point? Okay. So many of the cultures, they fell into this. You got my point? So always there has been a question in human mind. That is, what is living? Okay? Okay, what do you mean by living? Or what is life? Now, the answer to this question comes from two angles. I am using the NCERT lines. It comes from two angles. NCERT says that we can answer this as what is the purpose of life? That is the first question. It's a question that is ingrained in the basic human nature. मतलब एक इंसान के माइंड में, दिमाग में, दिल में एक बेसिक क्वेश्चन है ही कि अपने लाइफ का पर्पस क्या है. Until unless a person is an extreme atheist, they even deny this, that there is no purpose of life. It is just all coincidence. That is one extreme thought. What my point? Varna, this is a common and a correct question to be asked. What is life's purpose? You got my point? Now NCERT says, in 11th and 12th standard, we are not going to answer the first question, because that is a spiritual answer which is out of the scope of our syllabus. We will be answering the second question. That is, what are the characteristic features of living organism which help us to distinguish between living and non-living? So what are the two common and correct questions to be asked in biology? First, what is the purpose of life? Whose answer is outside this classroom? Am I clear, Uchalo? And we are meeting over here to answer the second question, and that is, what are the characteristic features of life? As a biologist, I have both my answers. You are at a stage where you are searching for these answers. Are you getting my point, everyone? And we need to have these answers also. Got it? And the correct opinion that you should form is that the life, the living things, as well as the non-living things, are all interrelated to each other. Got my point? You can't destroy nature and expect that the human race will develop a lot. There has to be a balance between conservation of nature and future developments, and that to create a balance is very important. That is why the last 4 chapters of biology, NCERT 12th standard, are dedicated to the environment only. I hope you are getting my point, Uchilo? Because in the name of development, if we start harming nature, it is going to ultimately affect us also in the long term. And NCERT nicely says that those civilizations which had an anthropocentric view did not last for long. जो civilizations का नजरिया इंसान ही सेंटर में था और सब डेवलपमेंट किसका होना चाहिए, हमारा ही बेनिफिट होना चाहिए, वो सिविलाइजेशंस ज्यादा टाइम तक टिके नहीं. अपने जो भी ईस्टर्न सिविलाइजेशन, 2 मेन सिविलाइजेशन, एक वेस्टर्न और एक ईस्टर्न. वेस्टर्न में कौन आता है? यूरोप वगैरह वो सब आते हैं. ईस्टर्न में चाइना, इंडिया, मिडिल ईस्टर्न कंट्रीज वो सब आते हैं. तो अगर आप ईस्टर्न सिविलाइजेशन देखोगे, आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन, यूनानी मेडिसिन, चाइनीज, ये जो सिविलाइजेशंस थी, वो लोग का व्यू कभी भी एंथ्रोपोसेंट्रिक नहीं रहा है इनका व्यू एंथ्रोपोसेंट्रिक नहीं. You got my point? Because that is one of the reasons why these civilizations have flourished for many centuries. So at the start only, at the beginning of the syllabus only, we want to make it clear that the development should be for everyone. Okay? Humans as well as other organisms in harmony. Because anthropocentric view does not cause the civilizations to last for long. It has to be a harmony between nature and humans. Is my point very clear? Then, the question that will be answered is, sir, what are the characteristic features of life? I can classify these characteristic features of life into 2 categories. One is, it is a characteristic feature. It is a characteristic of living organisms. And second, it is a characteristic, but it is a defining characteristic. It's a defining feature. Defining feature वो होगा जो सिर्फ और सिर्फ living organisms में ही है. It is only shown by whom? Living organisms. I have got my point. So we'll have features, and some features will be defining features. Features can be shared between both living as well as non-living. Defining feature is a characteristic feature of only the living organisms. Okay? So when I end up teaching that feature, you should be in a position to tell me whether that feature is a only feature or is it a defining feature. So what do I start with, Bachalo? Growth. Okay? And you know what is growth? Growth is what? Increase in size, shape. Now that knowledge part, we are not talking about the knowledge ka growth. Okay? Because this word knowledge is applicable to us. The ones who has got self-consciousness. Got my point? So when I am talking about the growth, I am talking about in terms of increase in numbers, increase in size, increase in weight, etc. That is the growth I am talking about. I hope you got my point, Bachalo. So here when I talk about growth, it is the increase in volume, it is the increase in mass, or whatever parameters that you use in order to measure growth. Here, is growth a feature of living organisms? Yes. Is growth a defining feature of living organisms? No. Why no, Sujal?
Non-living.
Can you give an example of a non-living thing that is growing? Okay. It is said that the Himalayan ranges, mountain ranges, they increase in size, very small size, every year. Got my point? Sand dunes. Sand dunes. They will also grow over a period of time. They can grow. You got my point? So can non-living things show growth? Yes. Can living things show growth?
Yes.
So now it has become a property that is shared between living and non-living. So can that be considered as a defining feature of life? No. I hope you got my point. So I'll say it is not a DF. That is a defining feature. You got my point? Now I can make a difference here. That is, growth can be classified into two types. One is called intrinsic growth and the other is called as extrinsic growth. Extrinsic growth occurs by a process which is called as accretion. Extrinsic growth occurs by a process which is called as accretion. And what is that? That there is a substance, its size will increase because of depositions of materials from outside. Its size will keep on increasing because of depositions of materials from outside. That is called as accretion or extrinsic growth. What is my point? And this is the growth that is common to all, living as well as non-living. I hope you got it. Which type of growth? Extrinsic growth. Intrinsic growth is the growth that occurs inside the protoplasm. As from the cell structure, you know the meaning of the word protoplasm. So increase in the size of the protoplasm. We can call it as which growth? Intrinsic growth. It occurs by a process which is called intussusception or internal growth. These are all Latin words. Okay? We can use a simple English term for it. That it is which growth? Intrinsic growth. That is a growth which occurs at the level of the protoplasm, and this intrinsic growth can become a defining feature. But which one? Intrinsic growth. Got my point? So if only growth is mentioned, then it becomes only a feature. It does not become a defining feature. Got my point? Is it very clear? In the case of multicellular organisms, like I am talking about plants and animals, we find that growth and reproduction growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive events. How are the two events? Mutually exclusive events. Now, what do you mean by mutually exclusive events? What is the meaning of this term, mutually exclusive? Yes? What is mutually exclusive? Yes, tell me. You're telling him, no? So you can tell us also. Huh? Mutually exclusive मतलब दोनों चीज totally अलग है. Like need and JW are two mutually exclusive events. If you are in your 10th standard, you can't decide that I want to give JET, JW as well as need. पर JET student है, क्योंकि need और JEE ये mutually क्या है? Exclusive event है. अब या तो इधर है या तो उधर है. हाँ? PCM भी लिया तो तू JET देगा? हाँ? ओके. चल तेरा एडमिशन अभी तेरा फीस अभी डबल कर देंगे हम. JEE का भी ऐड कर देंगे JK इसमें और उसको अभी नया स्टूडेंट डिक्लेयर कर देंगे. कौन सा? JEE का हाइब्रिड वर्जन हो गया. पॉसिबल है? नहीं है. हम लोग जो बहुत पहले पढ़ाते थे, जब सिलेबस बहुत छोटा था, ओके, दैट इज इन 2007 and 6. At that time, there used to be CET, where people used to give both the CETs. What my point? So at that time, both the events were mutually inclusive, but now they have become exclusive. So I said that in the case of higher multicellular organism, growth and reproduction have become mutually exclusive. Take the case of plants. A plant first will show vegetative growth. A plant will show what? What do you mean by vegetative growth? First, there will be a growth of its root, stem and leaves. And after enough vegetative growth is done, then it will start producing flowers, with the help of which it will bring about the formation of a new plant. So you'll say that, sir, it has done reproduction. But first it completed its vegetative growth, later on it shifted to its reproduction. So are these two things inclusive or exclusive? Exclusive. पहले क्या हुआ? Vegetative growth. बाद में कौन सा growth हुआ? Reproductive growth. Did you understand my point, everybody? Did you get it? Don't you think it's the same thing in human beings? First we undergo अथर्व. क्या है उधर बेटा? हाँ? कुछ नहीं मतलब क्या? But what? मतलब while teaching, why I have to pay attention to all this? I hope I got my point. So when you say that mutually what? Exclusive events. In human beings also, first we undergo growth in our body. After a particular age, there is hormonal release and we shift from vegetative to reproductive. Now you say that you have entered the age of puberty. Now you have become sexually mature. Okay, now those exclusive events. But it is very difficult to understand this idea when it comes to a unicellular organism. Like for example, we are talking about amoeba. When do you say growth and when do you say reproduction? The line is not very clear. Because in a unicellular organism like amoeba, growth means that this amoeba, as soon as it will start having more things inside it, immediately it will result in the formation of what, Bachalo? Two daughter amoebae. So immediately it has undergone what, bachalo? The process of cell division and resulted in the formation of two daughter cells. So you had one mother cell, immediately resulted in the formation of two daughter cells. So is it growth? Is it reproduction? Is it both? They are mutually inclusive events. Very difficult to say whether it is growth or reproduction, क्योंकि उनके अंदर growth का मतलब ही होता है एक से दो अमीबा बनना, और रिप्रोडक्शन का भी तो डेफिनेशन वही है. तो यूनिसेलुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म में ये दोनों चीज को सेपरेट करना ये बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट है. कौन से दोनों चीज को? ग्रोथ और रिप्रोडक्शन को सेपरेट करना बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट है. आया समझ में मैं क्या बोलना चाहता हूं? लेकिन मल्टीसेलुलर ऑर्गेनिजम्स में इट इज क्वाइट इजी बिकॉज दे आर म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव इवेंट्स. पहले क्या होगा, फिर क्या होगा? रिप्रोडक्शन. Did you understand this idea?
Yes.
One is growth, reproduction. In the case of unicellular organism occurs by cell division. The second feature of life we can write over here is what? Reproduction. And how do you define reproduction? How can reproduction be defined? It's a process by which a living organism will result in the formation of organisms like itself. बराबर है ना? इसके लिए इंग्लिश वर्ड है या फिर एक प्रोवर्ब है, like begets like. क्या लाइन है? Like begets like. और इसका मीनिंग क्या होता है? कि जो है वो उसके जैसों को ही जन्म देता है. जो है like begets, जन्म देना, like जो है उसके जैसों को ही जन्म देता है. Got your point? And this process is called as what? Reproduction. And from school itself, you have classified into what? Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Okay, and we're not going to go to the details of all that. Now, this reproduction, is it a feature of life? Yes or no?
Yes.
Is it a defining feature of life?
Yes. Yes.
Yes? All of you agree? What's a defining feature? It's a feature that should be shown by all living organisms, and it is a feature that should not be shared with non-living things. दो क्राइटेरिया में डाल दिए. एक कि एक ऐसा फीचर होना चाहिए which is common to all of us, and it should not be shown by the non-living things. Okay? So now, many a times, closely related species mate with each other. Mate मतलब sexual intercourse. So a horse mates with a donkey, and even a male donkey can mate with a female horse. So let us take a situation where a male donkey has mated with a female horse, resulting in the formation of a mule, जिसको हिंदी में खच्चर बोलते हैं, जिसको हम लोग ट्रांसपोर्टेशन के लिए यूज करते हैं कि नहीं यूज करते ट्रांसपोर्टेशन के लिए. अब ये जो म्यूल है उसमें क्रोमोसोम नंबर्स जो है वो अनइवन हो जाती है, और उसके वजह से वो रिप्रोडक्शन नहीं कर सकता. सो कैन आई से म्यूल इज अ स्टराइल एनिमल? इज इट लिविंग और नॉन लिविंग? इज इट शोइंग रिप्रोडक्शन? No. So that is why reproduction will not be considered as a defining feature of life. So is reproduction a feature of life?
Yes.
Yes. But is it a defining feature of life?
No.
No. Even sterile couples, okay? When do we say that the couples are sterile? When there is a cohabitation of more than 2 years. A couple is living together, a male and female is living together for more than 2 years and having a normal sexual activity, but still they are not having children. We'll say that they are sterile. You got my point? And then they can seek the IVF or the fertility the methods that are available that I will be teaching you in 12th standard. So sterile couples, a mule, this crossbreeds, they are many times are not able to show reproduction. That is why we say that reproduction is not a defining feature. Got my point? In unicellular organisms, growth and reproduction is mutually inclusive. It takes place together. I hope you got it. Reproduction, NCERT says, reproduction is influenced by many things, and one of them is photoperiod. Okay? Reproduction or reproductive cycles are influenced by what? Photoperiod. What is this photoperiod? Photo, you know what is photo, right? Photo means light. Period matlab duration. So the duration of light an animal is exposed to, how many hours of light and darkness. A plant, how many hours of light and darkness it is exposed to, can decide whether it will do reproduction or not. I hope you got my point. This concept is called photoperiodism. If I give you example, you will agree. Do you find that there are certain plants that produce flowers only in the winter season? Only in the winter season they produce flowers. This means that they require short day and long nights. In botany we call them as short day plants. Matlab long night plants. Short day plants or who require shorter days and longer nights in order to cause their flowering. What is the mechanism behind that? We'll be learning that in a chapter called plant growth. Okay. Similarly, there will be some plants which will flower only during summer season. So they require what? Longer days and shorter nights. So they will be called as long day plants. Got the point? Does the light influences animal also? Yes, it also influences animals, especially those animals which are seasonal breeders. Which those animals which are seasonal breeders. Okay? Human beings are not seasonal breeders. But there are many other mammals who are what? Seasonal breeders. I hope you got my point. And there's an interesting thing over here, which is related to a gland in your brain. In your brain, there is a small gland. Yes, pituitary is there, but there is one more, which is called a pineal gland. Okay, I'm just telling you something extra over here to make you understand things. What is the name of the gland? Where is it located? Inside your brain. And this pineal gland releases a hormone which is called as melatonin. Okay? What is the hormone called? Melatonin. And melatonin influences many things. One of them is your skin pigmentation. Okay? It can make the skin, humans ki baat karo, it can make the skin fairer. It can make the skin fairer. Okay? I'm not talking about melanin. Don't get confused. I'm not talking about melanin. I'm talking about melatonin. Huh? Sometimes people get confused. Because melanin can make your skin dark. Melatonin will make your skin fair. Two different things. Okay? Another thing for melatonin is it influences your sleep-wake cycle. It influences your sleep-wake cycle. Okay? I hope you got my point. It influences our what? Sleep-wake cycle. How does it influence our sleep-wake cycle? It has been observed that your brain, your neural system has got melatonin receptors. Okay? And as the darkness increases, light is less, darkness increases. The amount of melatonin in your body will also gradually increase. And they'll bind to the melatonin receptors on your central nervous system, and that will put you to sleep. Got my point? So melatonin production increases in light, or does it increase in darkness? Darkness. So as night will progress, melatonin production in your body will increase, and it will help you to give a sound sleep. That is why I have read the biographies of many athletes like Usain Bolt or Ronaldo, and they have one common habit that I found. That is, Ronaldo's case, he does not refer to any device at least 1.5 hours before he goes to sleep. It can be tablet, laptop, TV, or anything like that. When Usain Bolt used to go to the Olympic village, Olympics, you have an Olympic village over there. His room, even the utensils that were there in his room, or the equipments that were there in his room, they used to be covered by black paper. And he used to sleep in pitch darkness. Pitch means total darkness. What is my point? इससे क्या होता है? हाँ, so that will improve your sleep performance. So that is one of the reasons when you keep on. I hope you understand where I'm taking you now. Okay, you end up being online till the time you sleep. Many of the students, not all, काफी बच्चे लोग सोने तक क्या रहते हैं? Online रहते हैं. As a result of it, that light goes where? Eyes. Eyes is an extension of your brain. All neurons only there inside. Got my point? It's an extension of your brain, directly connected to your central nervous system. Will melatonin production increase or decrease? Will you have a sound sleep? It will affect your sleep cycle. Got my point? That is why you must see your parents and your grandparents कि वो लोग ऑफिस है या नहीं है, फिर भी अपने टाइम पे ही उठते हैं वो लोग. Because many a times they have got used to that. You say na schedule. That is a sleep-wake cycle. खुद ब खुद they will wake up. Did you get my point, everybody? Another important effect of melatonin is melatonin has a effect on your gonads. It has an effect on the gonads of animals, where it decreases the production of hormones called as FSH and LH. I think so. FSH you must have heard in school, bachalo. Yes. Follicle stimulating hormone. What is the name of the hormone? Follicle stimulating hormone. So now, imagine a fox living in Arctic areas, pura cold climatic conditions. Arctic fox. 4 to 5 months, it is winter, where the sun comes out only for a few hours. The rest it is cold, it is snowing, and it is darkness. Barabar? Tell me, the female fox, the levels of which hormone will be high? Melatonin. Darkness है ना, सूरज नहीं है, बहुत कम है, मतलब क्या ज्यादा है? Melatonin. मतलब उनके अंदर क्या है? Darkness चल रहा है पूरा. तो बताइए, वो फीमेल फॉक्स FSH प्रोडक्शन करेगी कि नहीं करेगी? नहीं करेगी. तो उसका एग प्रोडक्शन होगा कि नहीं होगा? नहीं होगा. तो वो एक मेल को सीक करेगी रिप्रोडक्शन के लिए? नहीं. तो क्या वो विंटर सीजन में उसको बेबीज बॉर्न होंगे? नहीं. ताकि अगर विंटर में बॉर्न होते तो इतने कड़कती ठंडी में मर जाते हो. आया समझ में फायदा? As soon as the winter gets over and spring comes, what comes back? Sun. Melatonin production will decrease. Not become zero, it will decrease. As a result of which FSH production will, and now she'll start her breeding cycle. So she had stopped her breeding during winter season. She has started her breeding during spring or summer season. So can I say that Arctic fox is a seasonal breeder whose reproduction is dependent upon the photo period. I hope you got my point. And it is greatly influenced by your pineal gland or pineal gland through the production of a hormone which is called as melatonin. Did you guys follow what I said just now? Okay. So that is how the reproduction can get influenced by photo period. Even though we are not seasonal breeders, you know that, right, Machilo? That we human beings are not seasonal breeders. But still, the light period, exposure to light period influences our behavior also. Because if you listen to any clinical psychologist, they will say that during winter season, the number of depression cases, they increase as compared to the other season. Because especially during, in which countries? The cold countries, Norway, Sweden, wahan pe. Because it is winter, cold for many months. Okay, it's a very gloomy atmosphere. Darkness is there, and there is production of certain hormones more than the others. As soon as spring comes, your body starts producing serotonin. It produces dopamine, and then you have that utsa, vigor, hope for life. That is why majority of the human festivals, they will fall in which season? The spring, those seasons. I hope you got my point, Mucho. So that is how light has influenced our reproduction and our behavior. Did you get my point, everybody? So is reproduction a feature of life? No? No? You said no. Is it a feature of life? Definitely. But is it a defining feature of life? No, never. It's not a defining feature. Another feature which I call as, what are we going to call it, Michilo? We are going to call it as what? Cellular metabolism. I think so. You kids must be knowing what is cellular metabolism.
Yes.
Can you tell me what is cellular metabolism? All the reactions which occur inside the cell, or in simple words, work done by the cell is called as what? Cellular metabolism. Work done by the cell is called cellular metabolism. Alexa, have you heard it is of two types? Vipal is of two types. Anabolism and why they say no? Do I need to tell you no? Na? Constructive work done is called breakdown process is called. Both the processes require ATP, but catabolic processes end up giving more ATP, so they are called as exergonic processes. And anabolic activities are called endogenic. You know all this, right, Vajilo? Okay. Now, remember, cellular metabolism is a defining feature of life because it requires cellular what Vajilo? Organization. You know what cellular organization Vajilo? Ayana, where atoms come together to form molecules, molecules come together to form biomolecules, okay? Biomolecules come together to form organelles, organelles come together to form cells, and that is a cellular organization which is showing what Vijilo? Cellular metabolism. Now the point to be asked is, if there is one metabolic reaction, there is one metabolic reaction, it is taking place inside the cell. It is taking place inside the cell. That metabolic reaction could be synthesis of RNA. What is it? Synthesis of RNA. Have you heard of this term RNA, Muchilo? Yes. You know what is RNA. What is RNA? Yes. RNA. Okay. Yes. इसी क्या पूरा फुल स्लीव देंगे क्या इसी का प्रॉब्लम और तुमको डबल डबल शर्ट hello, mic check. So where were we guys? Atharva, feeling sleepy bada? Huh? Sunday vibes? So what is this? Synthesis of RNA. Where is it taking place? Inside the cell. Is it a metabolic reaction? Yes. It is a property of life? Yes. It is taking place inside the cell. So we said it's in vivo. Yeah, let's go.
In vivo.
What do you mean by in vivo? It is when a process occurs naturally at its original place, it is called in vivo. Now what I did is I did the same reaction in a test tube. Where I did it? In test tube. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Now this will be called as in vitro. क्या बोलो इसको? So can I say now this reaction is which reaction? Metabolic reaction is taking place inside a
Test tube.
Is it living or is it non-living? That is a question for you guys. Think and answer. Okay? Is it living or is it non-living? Read a statement from the old NCERT text. Do you have old NCERT text, Siddhyani? Siddhyani, give. Now, I'll read this line. No? Listen to this line first. No.
What?
Jay, what happened?
Nothing. He was saying something. I was asking that.
Why are you wasting your energy there, Jay? Not worth it. No non-living object exhibits metabolism. ये statement समझा? कि कोई भी non-living object ये metabolism नहीं दिखाता. ठीक? Next, an isolated metabolic reaction outside the body of an organism performed in a test tube is neither living nor non-living. क्या बोला हम लोगों ने? Neither living nor non-living. Now listen to it further. Hence, while metabolism is a defining feature of all living organisms without exception, so cellular metabolism becomes a defining feature of living organisms. Isolated metabolic reaction, जैसा अभी मैंने वाला दिखा, isolated मतलब single metabolic reaction. In vitro are not living things, मतलब they are not live, but surely they are living reactions. Surely they are what? Living reactions. So in fertilization आपने काम किया, टेस्ट ट्यूब में किया, in IVF, तो वो क्या है? लिविंग है? नहीं, वो क्या है? लिविंग रिएक्शन है. But it does not represent the entire life because there you don't see any organization. Up to which level? Organ system and tissue level जो human beings में पाया जाता है. तो वो एक isolated एक छोटा सा अंश है. It's not the whole life. Are you clear with this?
Yes.
Yes or no? Hence, cellular organization of the body. Hence, cellular organization of the body is the defining feature of life. Because when these metabolic reactions occur with cellular organization, occur with body organization, they give you the properties of life. Isolated, nah. I hope you got my point. So NCERT यहाँ पे मैं किसको explain कर रहा हूँ? Metabolism को. लेकिन मेरा statement क्या है? Cellular organization is a defining feature of life. बिकॉज यही मेटाबॉलिक रिएक्शंस एक नहीं, दो नहीं, हजारों मेटाबॉलिक रिएक्शन साथ में होते रहते हैं, एक दूसरे से कैसे रहते हैं, कोऑर्डिनेटेड रहते हैं, और अल्टीमेटली लाइफ की जो खूबियां हैं वो दिखती है। आया समझ में? एक ही रिएक्शन अगर आप टेस्ट ट्यूब में करोगे, हाँ, तो आप ऐसा बोल सकते हो कि ये लिविंग रिएक्शन है जिसको मैं मिमिक कर रहा हूं, जिसको मैं कॉपी कर रहा हूं, लेकिन ये पूरी लाइफ, चलो फर्टिलाइजेशन तो कर दिया मैंने, क्या वहां पे इम्प्लांटेशन हो पाएगा? क्या वो जाइगोट का एम्ब्रियो बन पाएगा टेस्ट ट्यूब के अंदर? नहीं। आई होप यू गॉट माय पॉइंट। क्या वहां पे एक छोटा सा सूजन फॉर्म होगा टेस्ट ट्यूब के अंदर? आई बात समझ में? उसके लिए हम लोग को उसको क्या करना पड़ेगा? वहां से निकाल के इम्प्लांट करना पड़ेगा इनटू अ मदर और अ सरोगेट मदर। आई होप यू गॉट इट एवरीबॉडी? यस और नो? यस। Now, something very debatable, Manchu, whose exact definition even science has not been able to give exact definition. Barabar hai? And you know what is that? Ghost. Ghost was that. Virus. Okay. What holder? Threshold. Okay. What is the ghost word? Ghost. I wonder where she get that white saree from. And that is so clean. How did you imagine that? It has to be a woman with white sari.
It has to be
Covering her head. उल्टे पैर। ये लोग भी ऐसे लंबे बाल गिरे zombies. Okay, so and that is consciousness. What is it? Consciousness. What is consciousness? I'll give a limited definition, a biological definition. In simple words, it is awareness of the environment. It is the awareness of the environment. Are you aware of the environment? That is why you told me to switch off the AC. Okay, because you felt cold. बराबर है। अभी 15 मिनट के बाद फिर से कुछ खाओगे, तो आपको लगी है भूख। आपके लाइफ में तो भूख तो चलते ही रहती है। Every living organism is aware of its environment. Is an amoeba aware of its environment? Yes. If you give it electric shocks, it will retract its body. It's aware. Got my point? So every organism is aware of its environment. Externally as well as internally. But human beings have one level up. We have something called as common sense. Self-consciousness. Okay? Have you seen a lion and a lioness walking in the park, combing their hair, dressing up? Have you seen a lion dressing up for his wedding? Or a lioness? So the higher enough. So who is self-conscious? And it means that we can use our environment for our own benefits. I hope you got my point. So if there's a fight between, say, Sakshi and a tiger, who wins? Tiger. Sakshi. Because Sakshi's ancestors were self-conscious. They created a tool which is called as a gun, with the help of which she will shoot the tigress down. So who wins? Because Sakshi has got self-consciousness. She could use the environment for our own benefit. Okay? So we say that, yes? Sorry?
One more tiger down.
One more tiger down. Achha, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we want to kill Sakshi or to kill that? Sakshi का तो चलेगा, बोले बहुत इंसान लोग हैं। और साक्षी नाम के भी बहुत सारे। Okay. हाँ पीपल, क्योंकि तेरे को खा के भी उसका पेट भरने के बाद तो नाश्ता भी नहीं हो पाएगा। Then, when a person is in coma, we say that he is not self-conscious, but he is conscious. What my point? Do you need to feed that coma person? Yes, you feed him. आया ना? इसका मतलब कहीं ना कहीं उसके सेल्स को खाना पीना यूरिनेट करता है कि नहीं? करता है कि? So is he showing these features of life? Yes, he is conscious, but he is not self-conscious. But he cannot react to the external stimuli and use them for his benefits. Okay? Similarly, guys, hey, what's about it? You know, we have a genetic material. You know, we have genetic material, and that is called proteins.
Yeah.
बहुत knowledgeable हो गया तुम लोग। हाँ? DNA. Is the DNA influenced by the environment? Yes. The DNA gets influenced by the external environment. And then, does the DNA change? Yes. So, are there changes in the DNA? Yes. Will that cause the development of new features in an organism? Give me yes or no. Which can help it to survive in its environment sometimes better. And that process is called as evolution. Okay? This is the way you can define evolution. कि जो आजू बाजू का जो सराउंडिंग्स है वो अपने जेनेटिक मटेरियल को क्या करता है, चेंज करता है, उसके अंदर क्या लेके आता है, चेंजेस लेके आता है, जिसकी वजह से क्या होता है गाइस, जिसकी वजह से क्या होता है, डीएनए के अंदर माइनर चेंजेस आते हैं एंड ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम you can adapt to the new conditions, and that is called as what, evolution or the micro evolution. Is that a defining feature of life? Yes. It is shown only by living organisms, not by non-organisms. So if you want to summarize, what would be the defining features of life? Yes. Cool. ADP, 32 बस आदि मतलब कि इजी क्वेश्चन का आंसर है, आंसर हुआ
सेलुलर मेटाबॉलिज्म, कॉन्शियसनेस और डीएनए, तीनों डीएनए डिफाइनिंग कैरेक्टर्स।
कॉन्शियसनेस और डीएनए, तो एचआईवी के पास डीएनए है या अरे डीएनए कहाँ से लेके आया तू, इवोल्यूशन बोल ना क्या, सेलुलर मेटाबॉलिज्म, फिर कॉन्शियसनेस, सेल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, evolution, internal growth. These are the defining features of life. Bro, yes or no? So what are the defining features of life? Tell me again. Cellular metabolism, cellular organization, consciousness, evolution, internal growth, are the defining features of life. You know the textbook? Pass. Huh? Yeah, please.
How do living organisms show intrinsic growth?
By synthesis of new materials within them. So they use amino acids from the environment, result in the production of proteins. They will use simple monosaccharides, cause the production of polysaccharides, use these polysaccharides and proteins to build up their own cell membrane, as a result of which their protoplasm is growing. This is the internal growth. Internal and intrinsic are the same.
Asking extrinsic. Extrinsic.
क्या पूछा फिर से क्वेश्चन?
लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म एक्सट्रिंसिक ग्रोथ
कैसे दिखाते हैं? तेरे नाखून, they are showing which growth? Extrinsic growth. तेरी हड्डियों का कैल्शियम डिपोजिशन is showing which growth? Which growth? Extrinsic. तो जहाँ जब मिनरल्स या कुछ प्रोटीन ऐसे कुछ डिपॉजिट होता है बाहर से, so you can have some extrinsic growth के examples in a living organism also. बराबर है? Now, guys, tell me, which feature am I talking about? Am I talking about reproduction? Am I talking about cellular metabolism? Tell me. Last bench here. Yeah. The right side. Yeah. What's your name? Rashi. Yes. All organisms handle chemicals entering their bodies. All organisms are therefore aware of their surroundings. All organisms handle chemicals entering into their bodies. We handle them, right? हाँ या ना? किसको क्या यूज करने का, किसको एक्सक्रीट करने का, क्या करने का अपने बॉडी को मालूम है. So we are aware of our surroundings. किस फीचर का बात कर रहा हूँ? Consciousness. Better. Human being is the only organism who is aware of himself. थोड़ा सा हम लोग कभी कभी ना इट्स जस्ट डिस्कशन निकल हाँ